sweep the Chicago White Sox. They upset the homecoming of Dallas Keuchel, the product of the Houston Astros organization, who won a Cy Young, who landed his shortest outing in Minute Maid Park in his career. So today I've got the baseball lawyer on with us live as we discuss the Astros obliteration of the Southsiders from Chicago. Locked on Astros is next.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chansey.
Hi, I'm Locked On Houston Astros, and you can find me at Htown Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros wherever you get your social media fix. And tonight, I'm joined by the baseball lawyer, Brandon Del Castillio. Brandon, welcome to the show. Tell us where they can find you on Twitter.
What's happening, Brett? I'm Brandon Del Castillio, the baseball lawyer. You can find me on Twitter at bball_lawyer.
That's right. I am flying solo this week as Eric is out of town hanging with the fam at church camp. And so I'm going to bring you all the action this week. We've got Brandon tonight. Tomorrow night, we've got Connor Newcomb from Locked On Orioles. Then we got Trevor Howard, the New York kid who is a massive Astros fan, up and coming voice in the sports world. And then we have a mystery guest Wednesday. And then Thursday, to wrap up the week, we have Ben Verlander from Flipping Bats. Going to be an exciting week. Man, I am charged, Brandon. What a weekend of baseball, and happy Father's Day to you, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. What did you think about this series to go ahead and get us started?
Hey, first of all, happy Father's Day to you. And like you said, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. What a great way to end this week. Four-game sweep against the Sox. I don't know how you can't get pumped about that. They come in touting the best record in baseball, trying to say, you know, they're the best team in the American League. They have the greatest run differential when they come in, and they leave town with their tails between their legs, just the way I like it, man. Send them home crying.
Yeah, that was right. You know, and today's podcast is brought to you by Locked On MLB. Locked On MLB is basically led by the walking encyclopedia, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call him Sully. Every day I'm Locked On MLB for you. Go there to look at the majors, both present and past, featuring exciting guest interviews, routine check-ins from Locked On MLB network teams, local experts like myself and Eric, and insightful analysis on today's biggest stories. Locked On MLB is the single best source for your daily baseball talk. Subscribe today wherever you get your podcast. So, like you mentioned, the Houston Astros go 4 against the White Sox. And I said, you know what? I want a sweep. I got greedy and I predicted a sweep. And I don't know if in my heart of hearts I really believe that we would win all 4 games, but I at least wanted a series win. I don't think it was just the fact that we beat the White Sox, but I believe it's the way we beat them. The pitchers we faced, the hitters and what they did, and just this was a good old-fashioned team win on Sunday. It was McCullers versus Keuchel. Keuchel even said that he felt like McCullers' dad. And I guess we kind of were the White Sox daddies this weekend, not to quote Pedro Martinez.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of like the White Sox wanted to, you know, bow up to the big boys and come hang out and play ball. We let them play. We invited them over. You know, come on over. We'll play with you. And then we showed them what big boys really do. It was really great because you got all these numbers coming in. These big pitchers, Rodon. And Lance Lynn and Cease and Keuchel, they've been pitching great. Their offense has been looking superior, but I think they got a little exposed. You know, maybe they're padding their stats a little bit against the weak sisters of the AL Central. You know, I think that you come over here and you face hey, we are the big boys, man. You're facing Altuve and Jordan and Brantley and Yuli and Correa.
Yeah.
There's no let up in this lineup. And you know what's even more? People can talk about the offense all they want. How about that starting pitching? 7 innings from the starting pitching, the first 3 games of the series, 6 from Lance today. And we just really showed them what big time baseball is all about. They got a little ways to go.
That's right. They've got some growing up to do, and they can hang on to 05 all they want to. We're moving forward. Dallas Keuchel, like I mentioned in the intro, 2 2/3 innings, gave up 5 runs. He left with the bases loaded, and I believe a couple of those runs came across the plate, or at least one that was credited to him. You had a lineup where Dusty Baker took out Yuli Gurriel. We know Bregman's out for a while, and we'll talk about the impact of that later. Tucker is still out. And we'll talk about why he's been out, because we've been getting a lot of questions. I think we finally got some answers on that. But you had a lineup that boasted Toro, Taylor Jones, Chas McCormick, and Miles Straw. Now, Miles Straw and Chas McCormick have been pulling their weight. They've been doing a good job. They haven't been world beaters, but if you look at what they've done in their small sample size, I think as a baseball analyst or just a baseball fan, you can't hate on these guys, because they've been defensively, they've been good. Miles Straw started stealing bases and wasn't getting caught. Good base running. He shored that up. But how about Abraham Toro today? He was on a torrid tear in Sugarland. So was Taylor Jones, and Toro was 4 for 5. Granted, they were 4 singles, but heck, 4 for 5. He scored a run. The night before, I believe he hit a home run. What else is there to say about Toro other than great job, kid? Way to bring it up, and way to do a great job coming up and filling in for Alex Bregman. So those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I think Toro, we'd seen it from him before in 19, right? He came up and pulled his weight. We obviously all remember the big home run in Toronto. But even before then, he was having a great year in AAA that year, came up and really fit in nicely after we had traded Josh Rojas that year to get Greinke. And so Toro came and filled in, showed that he belonged. And then, 2020, everybody was off 2020, right? Most of the majors. It wasn't just the Astros.
Right.
And so he had a little bit of proving to do, just like everybody did. He was a little slow out of the gate this year too. Comes back, gets the feel for hitting, and comes back with a vengeance. Great game from him. We beat them in every single element of the game. An underrated part of baseball is the defense. The White Sox got exposed. Moncada is a horrible defensive third baseman. How many bad throws did we see over there? They're letting balls drop in the outfield. They're 29th out of 30 in defense, the White Sox, and the Astros are way ahead of everybody with the number 1 defense, and it shows. We get a little spoiled, but it's one more reason why Correa at the end of the year is going to be a really tough decision.
Yeah, that is something that I am I don't know if I even want to think about it. At times I'm okay, if Correa stays healthy, his price is going through the roof. They should have signed him. If they wanted to sign him, they should have signed him before Lindor signed that massive contract. I think that put a big kink in things. Right now the Astros they are plus 112 in run differential. The closest team, the Dodgers, who aren't even in first place in their division. And then the White Sox are in third behind that. So after this weekend, Fangraphs actually has an updated projection of the Astros getting 93 wins, the Oakland A's getting 92 wins, and us winning the division. The Oakland A's have been beating up on, I guess, smaller teams, minor teams, we've been beating up.
They've been playing the AL Central.
True. That's right. That's right. Who we just got through, just ringing up, right? So get this. The Astros have won 11 of their last 13 games. They are 16-4 in their last 20, Brandon. 36-18 since April 22nd. And they've won
4 against who?
Against winning, against, yeah. We have the best record against winning teams. We've won 13 of our last 17 series, including with this one, 6 straight series, a 7-game win streak. and that is absolutely phenomenal. Now, when
Just keep them coming. Just keep those numbers coming.
So here's the thing. So the Astros are eating. So let me tell you about Freshly, okay? Dinner time can be chaotic, especially if you're the White Sox. You don't want to go home and have to prepare a meal after a beatdown like that. But with Freshly, it's easy. Their chefs take care of your meals a few nights a week and take the pressure off you. We're all trying to get in shape and eat right. Freshly can help. Their delicious meals are designed by nutritionists and chefs who are master chefs and make it easier and better for you. Stressed? Tired? Just got swept by the Astros? That's okay. You don't have to cook. Call Freshly because their nutrition-packed delicious meals delivered fresh to your door. No cooking required. Grocery shopping and cooking can be a pain, especially when you are having to beat the crowds. Ordering is easy. Visit freshly.com and choose from over 30 delicious, satisfying, better for you meals like steak peppercorn, sausage baked penne, and their famous chicken pesto bowl. Freshly can fit your lifestyle with a variety of plans and meals to pick from that work for your dietary needs. So right now, I need you to go to Freshly because they are offering our listeners $40 off, Brandon. That's huge. $40 off your first 2 orders when you go to freshly.com/locked on. Stop stressing about dinner. Go to freshly.com locked on for $40 off your first 2 orders. That's freshly.com/locked on to get money off your first order. Now, if you're in even bigger rush and you can't prepare a meal, then go get a Built Bar. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar in the business. They have all kinds of flavors: raspberry, mint brownie, peanut butter brownie. My favorite is chocolate chip cookie dough and birthday cake, white chocolate birthday cake. They're wrapped in 100% chocolate. They're 13 to 18 grams of protein, 130 to 170 calories per bar. 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams of net carbs. So if you are feeling the hankering and a hungering for something small that won't fill you but be good for you, go to builtbar.com and use the promo code LOCKS15 to get your first order. Use the promo code LOCKS15 to get 15% off at builtbar.com. So let's dive back into this. As we come out of this, we're talking about the Astros. I want to hit on something that's not in our notes that I sent you because I do want to talk about average, OBP, and all that stuff. But there was a lot of smack being talked from the Southsiders. There was a lot of pregame tomfoolery, as we call it in the teaching world, from the broadcasters and former White Sox who actually played on the 05 team, Gordon Beckham, guys that used to play for him, talking about trash cans. And then Lance Lynn has the famous gif now where he's walking off the mound after the inning of giving up 5 or 6 runs in the innings, and he says, "Effing cheaters." And so now it's gone from you were cheating in 17 to, oh, you're really good now. So there's no way you could be good without cheating. Is this just something that's going to continue all season long, Brandon?
Yeah, I think it's going to be all season long. And unfortunately, it's probably going to follow these players for the rest of their careers, which is a real shame. And it's horrible that MLB has made these guys the villains. We all know that there was a lot going on with everybody, with all the other teams out there, and they just like Dallas Keuchel said, fans are misinformed, and apparently some of his own teammates are misinformed. So, I've had enough of it. It's tired, and we just got to move on and enjoy the Astros just crushing everybody.
Exactly. So, I was looking at the Astros ZiPS projections, and I don't know how often you look at that, but that's something I like to look at from time to time. I'm going to give you a question, see if you can get the right answer. Who is the only player that ZiPS projects to have 30 home runs at the end of the season for the Astros?
I would have to say Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve is the only 30 home run guy they have on our team. Yordan Alvarez was tearing the cover off the ball, and I like that Yordan Alvarez, but I like complete hitter Yordan Alvarez as well. I think he's more effective, don't you?
I do, but I would like to see some of that power return. We saw it, with the big, huge home run in Fenway. We saw one in Minnesota, but he had a chance today. There was no one on base. It was a big lead. He got 2 fastballs right down the middle. I was waiting for him to unload, and he swung right through both of them. I'd like to see a little bit. I'd like to see a little more power come back from Yordan. He's had his opportunities. where he didn't really need to focus and just concentrate on getting that RBI like he's done such a great job of doing. And there are times to shorten up and go the other way, and then there are times to just unload on the baseball. And I think he needs to bring back a little bit of the power. And
No,
if he does, you'll see the walks go up too.
That's true. That's true. So this offense has led the way with a 315 average, 386 OBP, on base percentage, 574 slugging percentage, 960 OPS at the end of their win on Sunday, which is tops in the majors over the last 15 days. Not to be outdone, get this, the pitching staff posted a 2.87 ERA, 1.04 whip, a .199 opponent's average against the pitching to lead the AL in all three categories over that same stretch. 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were on this show talking about the starting pitching, Lance McCullers' gnome guy right here, the starting pitchers not going very far, not going into even fifth innings, going 4 innings, then the bullpen coming in getting shelled to turning things around. And you have guys like Stanek come in, and you have other guys come in, and they're not even allowing runs against the White Sox. I mean, this is a team that is an absolute buzzsaw, and I think is going to terrorize Baltimore come Monday.
I certainly hope so. Earlier in the year, I think we saw them let their guard down against the weaker teams. Colorado, they got swept. I know it was cold there. We were missing some players. But the Detroit series stands out. Then we go to Seattle. It seems like the Astros have let their guard down a little bit with some of the weaker teams. Hopefully, they really put their foot down and stomp on the Orioles and Tigers this next couple weeks.
Yeah, that would be good. Now, Kyle Tucker, we know, has been out, and I'm expecting him to be back sometime late in the week, but he has lost 10 pounds due to a stomach bug. So the whole common illness thing, everybody's wondering, he was in quote unquote COVID protocol because of symptoms and things like that. But 10 pounds, he had put on weight. So, they will work him in, and I hope that he can come back and do the things he was doing, because his balls started finding holes in the field, and they started finding places to go other than the outfielder's glove, because he hits that ball so hard, it's going where it's going, right? There's no real curve to it. It's just going out there, unless he hits a tailing fastball to the opposite field. But it'll be good to get him back out on the field. How key has Kyle Tucker been for this offense overall?
Hey, he's been great. But it's everybody, right? It seems like everybody's stepping up. You saw Toro this weekend, but Kyle Tucker, he's really taken a lot of the load off. After that first month of the season, just on a tear. I'm hoping he's back tomorrow. He was out at Minute Maid today for batting practice, feeling a little bit better. So hopefully he'll travel with the team and he can get activated tomorrow. That's me being optimistic, but you never know. We'll see. It's not like we've had that big of a drop off with the way Chaz has been playing right now. He's been on a tear. So, to be honest with you, we've got a left-hander going for the Orioles. So maybe you wait another couple of days for Tucker, the way Chaz has been swinging. But very key player. And, if we can get rid of those slow starts for Kyle Tucker, what kind of season can he turn in? And, we've got him for another, 5-6 years to go along with Jordan and Bregman and Altuve, and it's a lot of fun to be an Astros fan right now.
Yeah, man. 14 hits today. This offense didn't have Bregman, didn't have Tucker, didn't have Yuli, and we still managed to scratch 14 hits. We still happened to get to Dallas Keuchel, the former son of Houston, Htown, the world champion. We went off on Rondon, who basically talked smack before the season. I don't know if you caught the little. I tried to put the tweet up. I was confused. I couldn't tell if it was deleted or not. But Tim Anderson was talking all kinds of smack. Oh, we win legitimately. We don't win by banging trash cans. And then their guys just talking like pride always seems to come before the fall. And the thing I like about this team, is they seem to be very unfazed by all the hate. Where, we as fans get into it with other fan groups, they could really care less, man.
Yeah, I don't know what these other guys are even talking about. I mean, they've got a 2017 Astro on their team. If they really want to know the truth, they can go talk to him about it. The thing that the way we're getting to these pitchers, we lay off the borderline balls. We don't chase outside the zone. Dallas Keuchel, he didn't look like as sharp as he has in the past. He's got a little command problem. But on top of that, we weren't, the Astros weren't expanding the zone. They ended up with 4 walks against Keuchel today. And so, I mean, it's just this lineup is relentless on how they attack. And you've got to bring the ball into the zone. And when you do, they're going to punish you.
The fewest strikeouts in the major leagues. So, dude, you need to go to Fangraphs. Everybody needs to go to Fangraphs tonight. And honestly, if you're not a member, it's like a really cheap membership. Support those guys. They do phenomenal work over there. Go over to Fangraphs and look at their basically their contact percentage. It's like 86%, 88%. I mean, it is unbelievable. And their plate discipline is great. It's like they have a wealth of hitting information like Wealthfront. And let me tell you, Brandon, if you're involved in day trading, there's been decades of data has shown that investors that trade individual stocks underperform the market every year, especially if you're like the White Sox and coming to Houston. In fact, only 1% of day traders beat the market. The odds are not in your favor if you're doing it alone. Team up with Wealthfront instead. Investing can be complicated, but whether you're a beginner or you've been investing for years, Wealthfront makes it easy. They have all the right tools for every portfolio. Wealthfront can create a portfolio of globally diversified, low-cost index funds personalized for you in minutes. No manual trades, no picking stocks, no watching the stock market every day. They automatically handle all the investing based on preferences you control. Wealthfront can even help you lower the taxes you pay as you invest. For your average client, their tax loss harvesting can more than cover the low annual 0.25% advisory fee. Best of all, it's automatic. So check this out. Wealthfront is trusted with over $20 billion in assets. That's right. You can get your first $5,000 managed for free for life by going to wealthfront.com/lockedonmlb. All you need is $500 to get started. Grow your wealth the easy way with wealthfront.com. So go to wealthfront.com/lockedonmlb to start growing your savings today. Tell them Locked On MLB sent you. All right. So with that being said, with us having a wealth of knowledge, the Astros seem to have a wealth of talent. Like we had talked about earlier, these guys coming up and stepping up big for Alex Bregman, Chas McCormick, and Miles Straw stepping up. The guys stepping up when Brantley was out. Brantley coming in, and Brantley is just a hitting machine. I mean, this guy's hitting home runs now. I mean, this guy is an absolute animal, and he's got the highest batting average on the team, I think, as it should be. I'm not saying he's Tony Gwynn, but he's as close to a pure hitter Tony Gwynn type player that I've seen, I think, in our lifetime. Do you think that's a fair comparison? I know they had different styles, but it just seems like everything that comes to him, he hits it.
I hadn't really thought about it, but that is a really fair comparison. Tony Gwynn obviously did it for a lot longer. So, he did it, right away. He had the power, he had the speed, kind of like Michael Brantley and early on in his career. Brantley, he had the injury problems there for the middle part of his career, the last couple of years in Cleveland. But yeah, Tony Gwynn is I think it's fair. The length might not be there. Brantley might have even a little bit more power. I think Tony Gwynn, I think he even said he could have probably hit, 30 to 40 home runs if he really wanted to. But, he shortened up, slapped that ball the other way. Nobody did it better than Tony Gwynn. And I think you're seeing a little bit of that from Michael Brantley the last 3 years, but especially this year, man. 2 for 4 today, 341 batting average, 386 OBP. He's doing really, it's just a pleasure to watch. And bringing the power yesterday with the 3-run homer. So glad that he decided to come back, not go with George to Toronto. But, hey, I wanted to bring something up real quick.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson wanting to talk about, they beat people the right way. I believe Tim Anderson was like 2 for 19 or something this series. if he was even that. and he was 0 for 3 today with 3 strikeouts. Their entire team had 3 hits. So how's that going to get it done?
Yeah, that's not going to get it done, and they can blame it on injuries.
That has nothing to do with our hitters.
No, that has everything to do with our pitching. Yeah, it's like shutting them down. I'm sitting here looking at the OPS, Brandon, and 5 players have an OPS over 800. Abraham Toro is one of those with an over almost 900 OPS. I mean, this team, Correa's got a 923 OPS, and I love how the broadcast where Callis and Blummer show these stats where they compare like the first 24 games and the last 24 games and stuff like that. And Correa has turned it on. I mean, he looked good today hitting that home run. I know his dad threw out the first pitch, so that was probably a little bit of a motivation factor. But we leave the friendly confines of Minute Maid Park. We go to Camden Yards, where you have Keegan Aiken squaring off against Jake Odorizzi, 2 pitchers that have. Do what?
I feel really sorry for Mr. Aiken, man. A left-hander in that ballpark facing this lineup, tears up left-handed pitching. I feel really sorry for him.
I do. Jake, Jake Odorizzi has been a mixed bag of, good and not so good. And I think if the offense comes out and supports him, he should do well. I'm just wondering how long they'll let him go if things get out of control. Because I don't know that there's. I mean, I believe Freddie Galvis has faced him 3 times. He has a 667 average against him, and Maikel Franco's faced him 4 times. Has 2 RBIs and a home run. So Trey Mancini has 1 hit off him, which is a home run. So you've had some guys that have seen Odorizzi because he was with the Twins. But I think if this offense comes in here and does just what they're supposed to do, get hits, score runs, stay clean on the base paths, don't make base running mistakes. And talk about base running. How great was it to see Carlos Correa get in a pickle, an old school Little League pickle, and beat it out and get there?
Yeah, who was that again? That was Tim Anderson, the talker, right? Dropping the ball.
It was Tim Anderson dropped the ball. So my wife, who never really watches the baseball games, said she was texting me while I was at the store because I was doing some honeydews. Even though it's Father's Day, I don't stop doing my honeydews because I try to, happy wife, happy life. And so I'm there at the store and I'm getting all these texts. Oh my gosh, Correa is amazing. Why haven't they signed him? I'm like, what happened? He had a home run. She goes, no, he got in this play and he was running back and forth and they dropped the ball and he was safe at second. I was like, what? So she was like, he's really good. Why didn't they sign him? I said, that's what everybody in Houston wants to know. Why didn't they sign him? And I told her it came down to this. The Astros don't have a history of signing players for a ton of money and massive contracts. I think the injury thing scares the Astros a little bit, but I'm afraid that we will have more regret than thankfulness if Carlos Correa dons another uniform.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about Correa real quick, we could obviously make every show about whether or not we're going to sign him and what would be reasonable. I mean, they did offer, the reports were 8 years, $25 million a year. That's $200 million. Obviously not this up to Francisco Lindor standards, but $8 million, $25 million a year. That's $200 million. That's a pretty big offer. Will they go to 10 years, $30 million for, and get that 300 number, which I think he's looking for? I think if you go that far, I know it's still going to be short of where Lindor is, but if you can get that to that 300 mark at the end of the year, maybe they talk during the year at the All-Star break or something. But if you can get to that 300 million mark, then you start. You got to believe that Correa has to start thinking about, hey, I'm about to be a dad. I've got my buddies here, Lance and I, doing our podcast. I know you can do that in other places, but I'm here with Altuve. My wife's from Texas. Do you really want to be leaving? I mean, I guess you could. Hey, the Rangers are going to have a ton of money. The Rangers are going to have a ton of money, and you can go up there, and I'm sure they'd throw maybe they'll throw $350 million at him. But I
would really hope that
Trevor Story really wants to go there too.
Yeah, I would really hope that the Astros would not that the Rangers would not sign him. That would be like another, like, A-Rod went there for like a massive contract. I remember when they got A-Rod, and they paid more for A-Rod than I believe George Bush at the time, the owner, paid to buy the Rangers, which was insane. I remember that. And
that lasted all 2 years.
Exactly. Plus, here's the thing with Correa too. Where else are you going to go where you're going to be a contender for the next 2 or 3 years? Because I really think that with these young pitchers, I mean, look at this dude, Garcia, Urquidy, these young pitchers, Framber Valdez, dude. I don't know if you saw this, but Htown Wiggy put up a picture on Twitter, and Luis Garcia was signing somebody held their baby out, and he was signing like their onesie. And he's like, Luis Garcia's over here signing babies.
I did see that.
That is, I mean, these guys, it's just, we've got so much here. To me, of course, I've never been in this situation. I've never made this much money. I'm a teacher, but I think I would take somewhat of a ego discount to stay in Houston. I mean, give me 280. Right? Give me,
It's about your ego, what you think you're worth, what you think your value is. That's why I think if you can get to that 300 million mark, 10 years, 30 million a year, he probably can get 350, to be honest with you, from San Francisco, maybe from the Rangers. He might be able to get it to go play third base for one of the big boys. But if you can get to that 300 million mark, that really, I think that makes him, you got to think long and hard, right?
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. And that is something that we could probably, you and I could go round and round, and I'm sure our people could listen to it all day about what is going on with Carlos Correa or what's going to happen. But what we're going to have to do is probably kind of wrap things up here. This is a great conversation to be had. What better way to end a weekend than a sweeping of the Chicago White Sox, the surging Southsiders of Chicago? They're on their way to the World Series. I'm sorry, you came against the buzzsaw, the Houston Astros. And then the Locked On Today podcast, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I totally butchered his name. I'm just going to call him Giannis, the Greek freak, and the Milwaukee Bucks. They stopped Kevin Durant. Oh, man, what a disappointing loss, because Kevin Durant's foot was on that three-point line. Gosh darn it, I wanted them to win so bad. Not because of Harden, but I like KD. Get more sports news you need in less time at Locked On Today podcast. Follow the Locked On Today podcast on the Audacity app or wherever you get your podcasts. Brandon, tell them one more time where they can find you on Twitter.
Well, my name is Brandon Del Castillio. I'm the baseball lawyer. They can find me on Twitter at @BBallLawyer.
Brandon, thank you so much for joining us and making the first show of the week in Eric's absence a absolute success. I am Htown Wheelhouse. I thank everyone for joining. This is Locked On Astros, and let me end with this. The 27th, Sunday, Webster, Texas, Hooters, live Locked On Astros podcast. We will be there. Come join us. Come get some beer. Come have some wings. It's going to be a blast. We're also going to have some giveaways, have several things to give away for you guys, and so much more. Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Astros. We'll catch you tomorrow. Let's go for win number 8. Have a good one.